Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
These are my two digital cameras, Canon PowerShot S2 in the background that has the swivel screen, which I adore, and that's the reason why I purchased that one. And in the foreground, the SD700 which I got because I wanted something that I could carry around in my pocket. Both of them I do love, I do adore, but the time has come for me to sweep them to the side, and well, I'll be selling them, so in case you were looking to pick up either one of those cameras on the market, let me know, because I've got to sell them so that I can pay for this. Yes, those do look brand new because I take care of my hardware. This is the new Canon PowerShot TX1. It is small, just like my other the SD700 that I love and adore, and Zoomrix apparently loves as well. And it also has a swivel screen, which is the reason why I like the other Canon digital camera. It shoots high definition video, 720p, at 30 frames a second in digital stereo. It records to SD card. In here right now I've got an SDHC Class 6 card, which is the highest capacity, highest speed, new format SD card available. With that, I can record about 30 minutes of high-definition content in this small device. And in my tests of messing around with the video on here, I was very, very impressed. I don't know if you heard that clink, but it's kind of loud when you turn it on and off. Metal scrapes against metal with this lens. This lens also lets you go as far as 10 times closer. So it's a 10 magnification optical zoom. It's insane. It also has a super macro, which means I can literally put the lens on top of something, and as long as there was enough light, it would take an amazing picture. Yeah, the sound is pretty disgusting, and yeah, it's. And recently announced the 850IS, SD900, 1000. Of the three, SD850 is the best for most folks. I agree. The SD8 X series, as long as it has the IS, the image stabilization, you're good to go. And the stabilization feature, you don't realize how much you want it and need it until you get out in the field and your hand's shaking and you're taking pictures. Some of those pictures are going to come out better. My other tip for people, if they are worried about camera shake, what I always do is I set it to manual mode, and then I turn on the continuous shot. This also has a new feature for Canon, continuous shooting AF. This also has, as earlier revisions of the PowerShot models, ISO all the way up to 1600. I usually set it to auto. Actually, does pretty good. It does a pretty good job. Ooh, is that the first time I said actually in this review? I'll try to keep it at a minimum moving forward. The software is a little weird. I can't easily swap formats between pictures and movies, so I can only set the format one at a time, because you're always in movie mode. You just press the red button and you're recording the movie, but you have manual or auto photo mode or the screen mode. Or scene mode. There's the screen mode. So if I set the format, the aspect ratio to 16 by 9, if I want to shoot my movies that way, but if I want to shoot my photos in 4 by 3, then I have to go in there and set it back to 4 by 3. So it's a little awkward. But the fact that it has so many features in such a small form factor, that's what drew me to this camera. I am really happy with the image quality for the most part. It took me a while. Super macro is the only usable macro. A regular macro didn't seem to work very well at all. The face recognition was pretty freaking cool. It actually detected Ponzi's face, and as I moved the camera around, the little sensor moved around to follow her face. It was really neat. But when I took her picture, I used the flash, and red eye was really bad. And other people have said the same thing, and the reason why is because the flash is too close to the lens. Canon has some software inside the, I guess, browser mode, but it's not that great, and chances are you're going to be fixing any kind of red eye in post-production. That's annoying. I never like fixing red eye. I just want my camera to work. The fact that red eye doesn't work well, even with red eye reduction on here, is a crying shame. This cost $500. Of course, the SD card was separate, but I got that pretty cheap on Amazon for about $100. This costs as much as it cost me to pick up the SD700 IS, which is still in pretty good condition. However, the TX1, unlike the SD700IS and the old series of form factor, isn't easily operated with one hand. You really need to have the photo strap because the chances of you dropping this are really high if you just plan on using one hand. The controls are very awkward, they're tight, there's a little, I guess, not exactly a joystick, but a nub, and I don't like nubs that I stick in my pocket. I realize that sounds kind of erotic if I take that out of context, but it could also snag on something, and that's not a good thing, especially with an expensive device. They also put the power button off in the middle of nowhere. It took me forever to find it, and I think some other reviewers had just as many issues. But in a package, in a total package, you know, HD video, 7 megapixel camera, you know, high capacity, high speed SD, you know, it's a good, solid camera. It takes really, really, really good picture. Is it a video camera or a still pic camera? It's the best of both, but either one, it doesn't do an amazing job. It does record stereo sound, and the HD video I've shot with it so far has turned out pretty darn nice, especially in low light conditions. You know, I guess I got to get used to that click of turning it on and off. For a point and shoot camera, I'd give it a B. I think they'll do much better with the TX2 than they did with the TX1. Like I said, there's a few hardware and software design flaws, but maybe they'll issue some firmware to mitigate some of the software flaws. You know, I'd say it's a keeper. I mean, enough that I'm ready to take most of my pictures and movies with it, and like I said before, sell my SD700IS and my SDIS, or S2IS, both PowerShots, both Canons. If you're in the market, let me know. Now, let me ask you this question before I, just end it. What's your digital camera? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Which digital camera are you looking forward to, and why? Everyone seems to have different opinions as far as all this stuff is concerned. And by the way, are you going to be a TX1 owner? Are you a TX1 owner? Do you have any tips or tricks to share? Digital cameras are just so much fun.